A year later, and I'm still banned for speaking out about the media. My options: work a minimum wage job or my passion, and do what I believe is right to show why my media career has come to a halt. EJ Manuel's current reputation is just an example of the madness the media creates when its audience allows it to trash players unjustly for ratings.
So EJ is going to play this week. What does he need to do to build off last week? He was pretty consistent last week. That's been his whole career. What does he got to do if he's going to play this week to change that?
Well, I tell you what. Number one, I'm so proud of EJ that you have no idea the work that he put into it. I mean, he was his preparation was, I mean, outstanding. And like I mentioned, did we wish we probably had a few throws back? Absolutely. You know, that shoot, you know, misfired here, maybe had a misread here or whatever. But man, I mean, if he plays, then I believe he'll do a great job. I truly believe that. It wasn't perfect, but you know, I thought he did a lot of good things in the game. And then, you know, like I say, you probably wish he had a couple plays back.
I know you're very happy with the way that EJ prepared for the last game against Cincinnati, but what can you do better on the field that will give you better performance than last year?
Well, I think, you know, part of him just, you know, he missed a couple of throws, missed a couple of reads, but just keep working and then try our best to, you know, just to, you know, be accurate and all that, and stay with, you know, fundamentals and things. I think we threw the ball so much last week. Some of that he reverted back a little bit, turning the ball, you know, instead of staying with his fundamentals, and he's been doing a great job of that. So really hone in on that and go out and play. And I think I think he'll do well.
Is the ball placement the issue with him? It just seems like a lot of his throws, even the ones that are open, he seems to have a tough time placing it where it's supposed to go.
Well, I think first off, there's a lot of things. You know, your balance, your footwork, and with him, like I say, when he turns the ball out, when he's dropping, you turn the ball out or wing the ball out a little bit, you're not as accurate as he is here. But I think his accuracy has really improved. He had a great day today, throwing the football. So, you know, we'll just see it carry into the game, hopefully, and I believe it will.
EJ, you know, like you said, had not started the regular season game for a while. There was a little bit of adjustment last week. Now that you got one under your belt, you know, you're going to be in there this week. Any help in terms of just jumping right in and getting going?
Yeah, definitely. My mindset is different. Obviously, going into the game, you know, the first or last week, you know, you study so much, and then you think things are going to necessarily happen exactly how you saw them on tape and all that kind of stuff. And that's not how the football's played. You got to go out there and just play the game. So that's really my approach going into this game Sunday.
What do you need to improve on most after watching the tape?
Just playing the game. Not worrying about, or not necessarily worrying, but not just, you know, going off what I saw on tape. You know, I think that's one of the things I noticed when I watched the tape on Monday after Sunday, was just to play the game, because I could have threw a hitch here instead of forcing the ball down the field to Hogan, or I could have threw the slant backside to Sammy on one of those plays. He turned Pac-Man around, a great route. Instead of working somewhere else, we still got a positive play, but just those little small things. If you play the game, you kind of fall into those types of things.
So I remember when, after you got benched, we talked to you at your locker, and you said when you got your next opportunity, you were going to be real aggressive and just go out there and kind of you. And did you feel limited under that offensive scheme or the way they coached you and kind of handled you there?
You're talking about last year?
Yeah.
Well, I was young. You know, I think it wasn't necessarily what the offense was for me or anything like that. I think I was just young, and, you know, I needed a lot to learn. You know, there still is more for me to learn. I'm still young, and, you know, I think a lot of this position is about experience. So I can't really say there's anything about the offense that made me seem limited or felt limited. So I know now, once I went through that process and went through the benching and all that kind of stuff and watching other guys play, you know, in my mind, I was like, hey, I'm just go out there, not necessarily just let it rip, but just, you know, be more aggressive, take shots when I have the opportunity.
Do you consider this offense you're in now better suited for what you can do?
I love this offense. I love this offense. When Coach Roman got here back in April and we started working it and, you know, trying to learn the offense and the installs and stuff like that, I knew it would be something that would fit me well. Obviously, I saw how effective Colin Kaepernick was, and I feel like we're kind of similar players, guys who can throw and run, along with Tyrod, you know what I mean? So I think it fits our skill set very well.
Do you think this time away from being the starter at Buffalo has actually been beneficial to that learning process, or do you think being under center, you learn better by doing it?
I think it's both. I think it's a double-edged sword, because obviously when you play, you go through rough patches. You know, you have good days, you have bad days, and you can learn from your mistakes. Whereas when you're sometimes taking a step back, you can watch somebody else make those mistakes, and then when you get the opportunity, you don't make the same one. So I think it goes both ways. I've seen quarterbacks who, like Blake Bortles, for example, who's young in his career, and he's starting to kind of turn that corner. He's starting to get better and more consistently. And it's the same for me. I felt like I started turning the corner back in the preseason when I had an opportunity to go out and show what I could do. So, it's all about a process of learning and gaining experience.
Brad, with EJ, with the second straight start here, how much of an opportunity is this, and how confident are you he can build on having a game under his belt?
That's a great question. I mean, it's a great opportunity for him to, he hadn't started in, a year or so. So last week was his first opportunity to do that. I thought he played a pretty solid game, a couple things we could clean up, and that's what this is all about. So another opportunity to go out against a very good Jacksonville team and take another step. But we have full confidence in EJ, and we love his skill set. And he's doing really good in his preparation. I really think he's growing as a professional and how he prepares week to week, and I think that'll really serve him well moving forward.
What do you need to see more from him specifically in terms of elements of this game that you'd like to clean up?
I think it's play by play. As a quarterback, you're playing probably the toughest job in professional sports. And there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things that you have to negotiate every play. And we simply want to execute with consistency, play after play after play, in machine-like fashion. And I think when you really watch what are known as or recognized as elite quarterbacks in the National Football League, one of the characteristics of these people is that they are simply in a machine-like fashion doing what they're supposed to do over and over and over. And I think EJ's got the type of makeup to really go down that path.
If Manuel came in and lit the house on fire on Sunday, is it possible that he could continue as the starter?
Well, that's a hypothetical question. That's what I plan on doing, is having him light it up. And we cross bridges when we get to him. But, right now he's playing this game. And believe it or not, that's as far as we're looking. It's a very important game against a very good team. And we know how popular Jacksonville is here, and it's like a home game for them, from what I'm hearing. So, we got to really be knuckles down on our preparation.
How much have you had to kind of alter what your thoughts were going into the season, what you're able to do, given all the people that have been out?
Yeah, I mean, huge adjustments have been made, and that's to be expected. But that's just part of life in the NFL. You adapt or die, and we're adapting, and we want to live and prosper, and we'll make whatever adjustments are necessary.
EJ mentioned how he kind of played off the tape this past game. He should have just kind of let it go and roll with the punches during the game. What do you think he means by that? How important is it to just adjust to the game you're in as opposed to kind of looking at that tape back?
Yeah, I think he's got to trust his eyes, trust what he sees, and stay in the moment. Trust his preparation and let it rip. And if you prepare with no conscience, you can play with no conscience. And I feel like he's preparing that way. We just got to bring that to the game. Nobody has the right to just go out and wing it unprepared. You got to earn the right to go out and let it rip, and he's been doing that. And it's just like a test in grade school. You go in there, you don't know what's going on, not good. You go in there and you know the answers to the test, you're having a good day. A recess is going to be great.
Are his fundamentals in a place right now where he can achieve that level of consistency you're looking for? How far away from that level fundamentally? Rex even mentioned that during his comments.
Yeah, I think that is something that he needs to continue to understand and kind of keep his mind focused on those fundamentals. Our quarterback coach, David Lee, does a great job with him. And, I think every quarterback in the league works on their fundamentals. Almost to an obsessive degree. It's a bit of a beautiful obsession. But it's just something you have to always be aware of, like a golfer is with his golf swing. And there's a reason, guys are putting 100 putts every single day. You never arrive. You're always constantly trying to hone those skills.
He had a run for a touchdown. He had another nice run near the goal line last game. Is he not given enough credit maybe sometimes for how good of an athlete and runner he can be? Does that factor in your game plan?
I have my copy of my game plan here, if you want to see it. And do me a favor and give it to Jacksonville too. I think, EJ. I told him in one situation today. I said, if that happens, you got to turn into Marion Motley. He said, "Who's Marion Motley?" I said, "Who's Marion Motley?" Anyway, yeah, he's a big, strong athlete. He's very powerful. I was with Steve McNair. He reminds me of Steve McNair in that regard.
So are you having any regrets on the Castle trade at the moment?
No, not at all. When you look at it, coming out of camp, arguably you could say he was the number 2. So we had the luxury of being able to come back with Castle at a reduced rate and have 3 quarterbacks. If you look at the league, maybe a little over half the league have 3 quarterbacks, so it's a luxury. And then when Aaron went down, we needed a spot, and then the Cowboys called. So in the long run, we looked at it as you have EJ with a longer shelf life. Arguably, you can say he's got a bigger upside, but that's the debate. So you're taking half of that equation off. And then you get a 5th rounder in 17, which you can jockey in the draft this year. 5th round in 17. You can jockey in the draft this year or have 2 picks in the 5th round of 17. So you're going to get another player with a longer upside and a bigger shelf life.
The way they handled the Taylor injury, they got him out there 3 days after spraining his knee as if he's going to start, did not suggest a great deal of faith in EJ on the part of this coaching staff. Are you comfortable the way, and to this point, still comfortable?
I would disagree with you. That's part of the rehab process to see if he's ready. When an injured player gets out there, they're seeing how close is he ready to. So I have to disagree with you on that statement.
Do you feel good about your quarterback depth at this point?
Right now, yeah. Because we believe that Tyrod will be able to play after the bye. We got EJ, we got Josh Johnson. So we're excited right now that, all right, when you got a backup, everybody believes that they have to raise their level of play up. EJ's got to raise his level of play up. He's a backup. He did some good things. He had some things that he needs to do better. Obviously, the whole team did though. And so that's what happens when you put backups in. You got to get a level of consistency, and to come out the gate, it's challenging. But that's what we're in this football business to challenge and accept challenges and persevere.
Would you agree there's a short-term dip in terms of level or quality of performance in trading Castle away and having to go to EJ in this situation with Tyrod hurt?
I think that's debatable. What we saw in the preseason, again, we felt comfortable with EJ being our 2, and obviously we showed that by cutting Castle. But again, that's something that you guys can debate. We believe that the level, there was a battle, and one could be 2. We thought it was 2A and 2B.
The fact you invested, you talked about upside and a longer shelf life with EJ, but the fact that you invested a first-round pick, how much did that weigh in? You made that selection weigh into the decision?
No, not at all. It looks, we always say this much, it doesn't matter how you get here, it's what you do when you're here. So, we had a 7th-round pick in Chantrell, and we started him. So, once you're on the team, all of that goes out the way. It's all about how we see you as a player, where you can go, and how long you can help us.
So you would have had no problem in cutting it if he didn't warrant a roster spot?
If he didn't warrant a roster spot, absolutely. As you can tell, we've got a lot of people that we thought would make our team better if they weren't around.
Philosophically, was everyone on the same page internally with that move?
I believe so. Obviously we're going to have internal debate, but we have external unity.
3 years in, have you seen the progress you want in EJ?
We've seen progress, but what we got to get him to do is do that progress consistently. It's still a little inconsistent, but we have seen progress.
Correct. Obviously, you said yesterday that Tyrod couldn't play. To what extent is that going to affect what you want to do against the Jaguars on Sunday?
Well, it's not going to affect us at all. We've been, EJ's done a tremendous job for us and things like that. He's a different kind of quarterback than Tyrod. He doesn't, have that kind of speed or elusiveness, but we can still do the same thing schematically, with either quarterback.
That's a wrap for the pre-Jaguars edition. I don't know about the rest of you, but I've had it with the exaggeration from the media. They either don't care who they trash, aren't educated enough, or just too lazy to watch the film. In my next montage, I will include post-Jaguars edition of press conferences to remind the public of what was said. I get that some of you fans became attached to these media members, but you deserve better, and there are better options out there. Currently, they're being held back for a number of reasons. If you want change, speak out on social media, boycott, and force their hands, and fight for equality.